So this is a fun little project that I've been working on. It's a book with a custom cutout for this 3D printed gun. The 3D printed gun is actually a design that I downloaded off Thingiverse. I managed to find all of the parts I needed to make that gun at Ace Hardware. Here's the process how what I used to make that cutout in the book. First we take the gun, take a picture of it, and then take that picture, import it into Inkscape. Do a little bit of rotation on that picture to get it lined up so the gun is straight in the book. So I just draw a line and rotate the picture until it looks about straight, and that'll be close enough. And then the next task is to trace around the gun in some approximate fashion to make the shape of the cutout that's going to go in the book. Leave a little bit of extra room around the trigger to give it that classic gun shape, I guess. And then in the front I'm going to leave a little extra space so we can leave a Nerf dart in the gun while it's in the book. We're going to edit a little bit, edit those lines that we created. The lines that I created are pretty close to the outside of the shape of the gun, so I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bit to cut the hole in the book, and that'll give me about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, so if I'm a little bit off somewhere, that'll be okay. Here I'm going back and editing the lines to make them a little bit smoother, make them look a little bit better. Just a feel thing, just edit it to the way I think it should look. Now I'm going to save that as a DXF, and we import that DXF right into FEngrave. And FEngrave in engrave mode is going to cut the center line of that line, so it'll give us that 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Change a few settings, flip it around so it's oriented the way I need it when I put it on my machine. Here's the book we used before it was cut. Trial fit, make sure the gun's going to fit. Open it up, and what we're going to do is we're going to put in a couple boards that'll compress the pages, so when we're cutting the pages they don't flip up or bend, so it makes the book act more like a solid chunk of material. Here's the bit I use. It's actually a Harbor Freight bit that's kind of the style that's used for a rotozip. I think it came in a 3-pack. It's a cheap Harbor Freight bit. Put a little paper down to protect the rest of the book so we don't damage it or get it dirty in any way. Try to keep the book as pristine as possible in the areas where we're not cutting it, so it doesn't look like it was modified in any way. So the first thing we do is go around and do start cutting into the board that's clamped to the top. And after this cut is done, we can actually set the gun on top of it and do kind of a trial fit to make sure everything is going the way it is. I skipped a few steps there. Now we're actually cutting the depth to get that piece of wood out of there. If you notice, the paper is pulling up while I'm cutting this, and I start using sticks to keep that paper from pulling up. And one thing I did do after a few runs here, and I don't think I have it in the video, but if I would have ran the bit in the opposite direction, which like I said, I did this, it has less of a tendency to pull up. So I'm kind of doing essentially a climb milling operation going this direction. If I do a traditional cut, which would be going around the gun in a clockwise fashion, that gives it less of a tendency for the bit to bind up with the paper. So we repeat that a few times. And eventually we're cut all the way through to the bottom. And here's a couple pictures of it still on the machine. There's a little bit of burning on the paper. My router is a single speed router. Maybe if I had a variable speed we could have slowed it down a little bit. Maybe adjusted the feed rate also. I was running about 40 inches per minute when I was cutting this. But the result is essentially what I was looking for. My 10-year-old boy is very happy with the results.